Here we have an image which is severely lacking in contrast. You'll notice that there's no extreme black and there's no extreme white in this image. Everything's looking kind of washed out. You're looking at the histogram here. Look in the shadows area. Notice there's a big gap, meaning there's no pixels in the shadow area at all. And in the highlight area, you'll notice that there are some pixels, but just barely. There's not a lot there in the highlight area either. This is very easy to fix. We can repair this using either the levels or the curves. What we're going to do is we're going to use both methods. What we'll do is go to the Layers palette, click on the Adjustment layer, and then choose Levels. And this will open as a brand new Levels Adjustment area. Looking at the Levels dialog box, we can see the histogram, and what we do is just grab the shadows and pull them up to the bottom of the curve. See where the curve is here? This is our pixel data. In fact, the shadows start right there, but we're going to pull it in just a little bit more. It's going to allow us to clip a few of the shadows which are not really that important. And then on the highlight, just drag that in a little bit, and notice that brightens up the image. So you can see now there's a lot more contrast. A little tip, if you want to see what's actually being clipped, and when I say clip, that means that when we apply this, these areas are going to be thrown away. Hold down the Alt or Option key and click and drag, and notice you can't really see any of those shadows. There's nothing really clipping. Just tiny little things you wouldn't notice. You can see them down there in the corner. And as I increase it, you'll notice that you'll start to see bigger areas highlighted that are going to be clipped. If I take my finger off the Alt Option key, you can see it. See? You can see the areas that are going to be clipped. And same for the highlights. If I push down, you can see the areas that are going to be clipped. And just click OK. And here we have the image. Let's look at it before, lacking in the contrast. And then afterwards, after the levels adjustment, you can see the contrast has been increased. Let's do the same thing with the curves. Grab an adjustment layer, choose curves. Here's our curves dialog box. If we want to find the areas of shadow in here, we'll just move our mouse outside and notice that it changes to an eyedropper tool. And you click, you can see the different areas highlighted inside the curves. Let's move to an area which would be darker, like say over here. These areas should be very dark. Notice where it is on the curves. If you hold down the Control Command key and then click there, notice that point will now be added to the curves dialog box. Let's look at some of the lighter areas. Up here is one of the lighter areas. Also over here, let's just Control click on there, add that point. Now on the curves dialog box, let's grab the point that we just selected for the shadows, and let's pull it down to increase the shadow detail. There we go. We're now darkening the shadows. And notice that's added a lot of contrast. The image is looking a little bit dark in the highlights, so let's grab that point and let's just bring it up a little bit. And that will add some brightness to the image. Not too much. You want to be very subtle, and then just click OK. And there it is with the curves. Turn it off. Before, after. Before, after. Now let's compare it to the levels. There's the levels. There's the curves. And there's our image. We could apply them both if we wanted, but that would give us a very overly contrasty effect. But if that was the effect you were looking for, what you can do is, if you want to combine the two, is just pull down the opacity on one of the layers, drop it all the way down, then just bring it up a little bit. And now I'll show a combination of the two. Not really advisable, but in extreme circumstances that may work. As far as using levels or curves, that's really your call.